So yeah, what the hell's wrong with Cliven Bundy and him and his militia supporters confronting the feds on like nearly a freaking shootout, bloodbath? So yeah, easily, um, this could have easily escalated into like a bloodbath. So yeah, basically this is a rich rancher that's refusing to pay like more than $1 million worth of fees for his cattle grazing in the like federal government's lands. And before, it used to be that there weren't enough people, so they would just let anybody roam around free with their cattle and let them eat. Grazing is basically letting your cattle like eat all the grass that's in like the land everywhere. But since it got overcrowded, then the government started had to step in and like set regulations. So 1937 they passed the Tyler Grazing Act, which would for the ranchers, they would have to pay fees if they wanted to have livestock like yeah, if they wanted to have their livestock grazing around in the grasslands, eating and stuff. And those fees are actually like put back into the economy of those counties, and to basically invest it back in those counties to so they can improve their whatever they need. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, if they he's supposed to be like the last rancher there in that county, or like one of the last few ranchers. And yeah, so he's supposed to. I mean, if nobody else is using that land, I mean, I get they should just let him like feed his cattle. Um, but also, I mean, if he's rich, if he's filthy rich, and he could pay those $1 million+, then why the hell would you be protecting somebody that's already rich, making them richer, like keeping them rich, instead of like letting the government force him to pay the what he owes, supposedly the fees. Yeah, all these militiamen, and there's been like a proliferation of militia groups in the United States since Obama took office, because they're like it's like they see it as like power of like the white Christian establishment, like being like slipping away because there's a black man in the White House. But I don't see how a single black man in the White House can make a difference in like anything. It's just for looks, man, or maybe to get the minority groups to like let down their guard and stuff, and like rip them off even more, like shaft them. Um, yeah, so Cliven Bundy, if you have the money, you should pay for the stuff. And yeah, those militia type group, they're overtly paranoid, and it's basically, they just go by race based like paradigm. That's their model. They go by race. So yeah, anybody that's not doesn't look like them, they don't trust. They're distrustful. They're automatically distrustful of anybody like Obama. And yeah, there's armed revolt. They're speaking of armed revolt right now in like the forests of Michigan and other places. Um, but yeah, I mean, Cliven Bundy, if he's got all that money and shit, like they should allow him to pay his taxes so it can like trickle back down into or so it can be invested into the like people that make the poor people, the middle class people, all that stuff, instead of just accumulating wealth with the wealthiest peoples. All right, so Yeah, those. That's why I'm telling that those militiamen. I mean, I get that guns are important because of like tyrannical governments, but you're just being like uh insolent, I guess. Uh, just being unproductive. Those militias because they're trying to make him richer or like keep him rich, preventing him to pay all that stuff. But this is another thing, they see this stuff like through like racial lines. They see this as an affront on like some like this old white guy rancher. And I mean the government might be making it harder for ranchers to exist, but that's it's not because Obama is black, but which they are using as it's like one of the main reasons fueling this like confrontations. All right, but